Hello friends, and welcome to the last of our introductory videos. After this, you should hopefully be able to move your butterflying forward. This video is a brief introduction on how to use your camera for butterfly identification. This is not a video about taking the most beautiful pictures, which will be a topic for a future video. Aesthetic photography will cover picture styles, camera settings, camera types, and so on, and we look forward to presenting that to you. In this video, we will only touch on how to use the camera to get suitable images to allow for identification. Because it is most likely that a mobile phone will be available when stumbling upon a butterfly, we will focus primarily on mobile phone photography. If you do have a dedicated camera, the principles will be the same, and we will advise on settings, although automatic settings will probably be sufficient for basic identification. Let's look at the general settings of your device. In many cases, the first shots will be using your device in default mode, but if you have time to adjust, then try and change some of the settings for the shot, as explained further on. If your camera or phone has the ability to record time and geolocation coordinates, then activate that if you can. This may assist in identification later when you have forgotten where you took the picture. Most mobile phones have this ability by default, although you may have to activate this. Of course, not all mobile phones have the same capabilities, so, from the items described, use what your phone has. It is best not to try and use digital zoom for the picture, as it tends to result in pixelated images. However, it does allow the butterfly to appear bigger on your screen. The longest zoom you can use will allow you to be further from the butterfly, easing the approach. But remember, zooming makes it more difficult to hold still or to actually aim the camera at the butterfly. When photographing from close in, it may be best to use the standard one-time setting for the best pictures. If your phone has the capability to adjust camera modes, often found under Pro settings, such as shutter speed, macro, etc., the sharpness can be improved by increasing the shutter speed. In many cases, one needs to get very close to the butterfly. Thus, a close focusing range is important. Test your phone's reach beforehand, which will allow you to know how close you can get when actually trying to take a shot. Some phones have a macro mode, which will allow for closer reaches, but often this means it won't focus at further ranges. Try and make sure that your phone has actually focused on this distance. For many macro modes, whether this is with a phone or a camera, the flash might have to be on. This shines additional light on the subject, but it may change the color a little bit. When possible, try to always take some photos with a flash and then without the flash as well. Taking a video may be useful, but in many cases, videos do not provide as high a resolution as static images. So while they may be great to record the butterfly flying and get a few still frames even if the butterfly is in motion, the images may not be as clear and detailed as a photo taken in single photo mode. If your phone has the ability to do slow motion, a video recording may capture many frames as you approach, which sometimes can leave you with a few usable frames, especially if you are forced to record in flight. Just remember, this chews up memory very fast, and there may be a limitation to the recording duration of your phone. The main advantage of video is it may allow you to capture some images even if the butterfly will not settle. On my phone, I cannot do slow motion recording on any of the zoom settings, which is a real disadvantage. It is very important that your camera is set up beforehand, as a butterfly may not sit still for very long. Being ready often allows you to at least get one shot. Focusing on the subject is sometimes difficult, and the automatic focus of the phone may be slow. Manual focusing can often be the solution for this. On my phone, this is done by clicking on the image of the subject on the screen. So, now that your camera is set up, what must you try and capture for the best identification? It is ideal to get the image as large as possible in the frame. Because of the skittish nature of butterflies, it is best to take a few safety shots from a distance. Many mobile phones have a very high resolution, allowing one to zoom in later. It is often difficult to get the device to focus quickly, so a few unfocused safety shots, as long as they are not too bad, may still be useful. When you refer to our video on butterfly identification, you will remember that one should try and record those characteristics that are useful for identification. Where possible, try to photograph both the upper side and underside of the wing. This is the best for identification. But many butterflies won't cooperate for this, and you may only end with one or the other. This may still be good enough for an identification, so don't despair. Once you have your first shots, try and ensure that you get a good focus on the butterfly. When identification is down to a few dots here and there, focus may be crucial in the final identification. Before we continue, why don't you click on the subscribe button below to assist us to continue to produce videos about butterflies. We have some really interesting ones coming up. You now know how to set up your camera and how to do it. So, now it is time for the real thing. Remember, it takes some patience and practice, so don't give up. Now for the most difficult part in getting the shot. Butterflies have an almost 360-degree vision and are very sensitive to motion, so approaching them is very difficult, but a few guidelines could assist. While it is not impossible to capture them in flight, it is very difficult as their flight can be fast and straight, but also slow and erratic. It is best to stalk them when they are settled, when feeding or sunning. Approach them slowly, taking safety shots with every step forward, and try not to make sudden movements. Try and not break their horizon. This is a dead giveaway, and if you have to, do it slowly. In most cases, it is best to not let your shadow fall over them, but sometimes putting them in shade may in fact get them to sit still for a little bit longer, although they probably will close their wings. It is often useful to get down and crawl towards the butterfly. This reduces the chance of disturbing the horizon, and of course, generally shortens your shadow too. Move very slowly as you approach them. If you are using a regular camera that you use through the viewfinder, it is best to raise the camera to your eyes before approaching. If using a mobile phone or camera with a live display screen, try and minimize arm movement. And of course, don't bring your dog along. In many cases, the butterfly will, on your approach, turn towards you so as to offer you the worst possible view, just a thin line. But from its perspective, it is making itself less visible. If possible, try and take the picture from the sun side, as that illuminates the butterfly best. But that is also the direction where your motion and shadow will be most obvious to the butterfly, so take care. Now that you're ready, we need to determine when is the best time to capture butterflies. The obvious answer is, of course, whenever you see a butterfly. But if you are putting in the effort, remember that butterflies are least active in the early morning and late in the afternoon, when they would settle more to capture the first or last rays of the sun. This is also the time when they would sit with open wings, making it easier to get close to them and to get good upper side shots. The next step is, of course, to take these pictures and try to identify the species from it. You can review our video on the basics of identification and also start to compare against your reference book. While we do encourage you to submit your pictures to iNaturalist, our approach is to teach you to learn how to identify for yourself. This will help you later when you are not able to take a picture, but still see the butterfly in the bush or your garden. If you have not seen our previous videos and would like to learn about where to go and how to identify them, please visit our channel and have a go at those videos. If you have not done it, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have comments, please add them. We are really keen to hear what you have to say. If you have enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up. And if you want to be notified of the next one, hit the notification button.